Time for a little something different today. It's probably been over a year since I last did a room tour when I first moved into this room and had a new setup. At the time I did that, it was very dark in here. It's daytime, I got lights. Let's take a look now. Okay, so back when I first started doing videos, if you go back to my earliest videos, it was back when my office and collection and everything were back in our master bedroom in the side of that. And so I had one set, I was just getting into records, and I had like shelves on a bookshelf that had records on them. And then as things expanded, and then we started doing some work on the front room in our house, which was sort of it's one of those old-timey houses that had what would be considered a formal living room and then like a den area. Well, we didn't really have a lot of use for that formal living room. It was a room where we had guests over rarely. They would come and sit in there. It was kind of unused. It was kind of, we thought, wasted space. So the thought was, let's turn it into, well, we had all kinds of plans. Let's turn it into a game room. Let's turn it into so we ended up ultimately turning it kind of into, I'll say, a glorified man cave, but not really, because it is still a room where we can entertain people, but it has become my office. So we bought a new desk, we brought it in here, we kind of cleaned things up, I mounted a TV, and then I already had my library in here, which I'll show you, and so we moved the records in here. So basically I expanded everything into this room, and then I turned my old office back in the master bedroom into my wife's office. And so she has her computer and she has the desk and everything back there, and then I have a new setup. So I showed some of this in the previous video, but like I say, it had to have been probably a year ago. And when I did it, I didn't really have any lights and it was dark. And even though people seem to enjoy it, it's better now, and I've got, slightly different rearrangement and more records. So let's take a look. Here is my desk area. And behind me we have CDs and records and books. So before I started buying records again years ago, I've always been into books. I used to have an online bookstore up until like 2011. So I bought, sold, collected, retailed, distributed books. And so I'm a big reader, big books, lots of books. And so I'm just starting to collect something else again. I've obviously had CDs. I have thousands of CDs. Have collected them for years, and now back into vinyl. So, but this is the basic setup here. So I'm going to give you a look at what it looks like in a different perspective. So for the most part, this is the opposite view from what you're seeing. The camera's here facing me. At this point, because I'm working from home, we have two computers. This is my work computer. This is my computer. I have a computer and a laptop. It's a laptop down there. Two mice, one keyboard that runs both, tablet, all kinds of fun stuff, mess, coffee, drinks. And from my angle, I have a TV here so I can watch things. My records are over there. So this is kind of what I see. As I turn this way, I have a bookshelf that's been also used to clutter up some stuff. These are books that I would use if I'm writing a message, or so these are like, and most of this is theological stuff. It's various translations and commentaries and dictionaries and historical books. So these are books that I would use if I would as reference material for writing things. These are more books. These are books that are a lot of eschatology / end times related stuff. Most of these books here by this one author are covers that I have created. I do graphics art on the side, and so I have created for this particular author pretty much all of these. And so these are some of my handiwork, and then these are just other related books. So now in general, when you look around the room from where I'm standing at my desk, so we got two bookshelves over there, and I'll get close to these. We got a third shelf over there, we have another bookshelf over there, and then these two here. And then in this room is more books, which I'll show you in a moment. Now, directly behind me is a rack of CDs, as you can see. On top of it is another rack that has some more CDs and some DVDs. These are all Christian rock. So it starts at A and goes down to like M. Across the top, though, is all Neil Morse and Flying Colors and Transatlantic, which are Neil Morse things. This is Transatlantic and Neil Morse, more Neil Morse. These are all the Neil Morse fan club CDs that you get every month that I've gotten for many years, and just miscellaneous stuff. And this has kind of become the junk shelf. Anyway, so that's what I see, and then right beside me are the main record shelf, which I had gotten last year, which I think was what was new when I showed this room. So let's move there. So looking at this room from the reverse side, we have the records here. As you can see, there's stuff on top, and there's glare, and then there's another CD shelf, and then books, and then there's a chair, which I've done videos from the chair before. But let's look at the records. So what we have here is a dog. So what we have here is the mainstream artists, and it goes from A to Z. So these are all of the non-Christian rock albums. So we have, you know, A all the way through. You can see Kiss and Wasp, and so that's kind of where it goes there. Up here on the top, this is where this whole little section here on the right side of Saxon would be jazz and big band. Then we got Adamant box set, Saxon box set. On this side are kind of records that could be given away. VCLT, extras, things I've picked up. So it's kind of like miscellaneous stuff that could be passed on. Beside that, we have a bunch of books, magazines. So here we have, like, this is all Dream Theater fan club things, when the fan club used to be around for years ago. These are old issues of Kerrang magazine. This is junk that gets piled up on top of it. So these are old Kerrang magazines from back in the day. Wasp, Motley Crue, fun stuff. This is the section where I put my albums. When they first come in, I put them here until I've listened to them what I feel adequately enough to then file them away into the actual collection. So these are that. This is that I guess old country album that I got the other day, and then this one was that one. And I've listened to them, but I wanted to give them some more listens before I've actually filed them away. And then in here we've got, this is just a bunch of Kiss stuff. These are some of the Kiss magazines that came out a handful of years ago when the big reunion was going on. So this is just some of the collectible stuff that I've got going on. This is the Kiss box set. Okay, and then moving on to this side, more DVDs, and these are all Christian rock stuff. So we've got Stryper and Tourniquet and 77s and other bands, Narnia, Petra. Then we got stuff down here. These are like more or less my key favorite type bands. Iron Maiden, Saxon, and then a bunch of Mike Portnoy drum videos. The CD rack under this is the rest of the Christian stuff. So it starts at N and goes down to Z, and it's just everything. Essentially, my entire Christian CD collection is still in this room, whereas all of my mainstream CDs, except for a few that I'll show you in a second, have been boxed up and moved to another room where I'm going to hopefully organize them, because there's just not enough room in here to put them at this point. Now, beside that, we have a bunch of boxes of empty vinyl boxes. So what happens is when the mail comes in, this is where the boxes go, and then I eventually, when it gets too much, I throw them out and keep some for use. This is a little refrigerator that my son bought me last year for my birthday, and I drink a lot of Zevia, which is a stevia based all natural soda. No bad chemicals. And okay, on this side of the where the CDs are and everything, this is basically more books. Again, these are studies and things of a deeper nature that I also do a lot of reference on. A lot of ancient Near Eastern studies, a lot of things along that line, a lot of theology stuff, and it goes all the way down. Same with this. These are all, you know, history type books, ancient history, Josephus and Eusebius and Philo. Those are all people who wrote back in the 1st, 2nd century of church history. And these are just a lot of different books on the family and different doctrines. So it goes down. Now, this is a slightly new setup because I just did this last week. I was able to, I moved around some of the records, and so this top shelf here, these are all my Christian pop rock, 70s rock. So this would be basically all of the non-metal, non-metallic, non-hard rocking Christian stuff. And then on the second shelf, these are just some CDs. Some of these are for sale. Some of them are just things that, a lot of these are extras for sale. Like, you know, I recently bought the new Shout albums. So these are the old ones that I put up for sale. Extras that I've acquired of other albums. Then there's some more books here. And then below that are DVDs. This is again some of my main favorite bands. So you got Alice Cooper, Scorpions, Hammerfall, Government Mule, Accept, Twisted Sister, Sammy Hagar, Rush, Mama's Boys, Rat. And then there's some extra space there for some box sets and miscellaneous CD stuff. There's a guitar I bought years ago that I never learned to play that's gathering dust now. This is my goofy dog, Coda. Laying under my desk wondering what I'm doing. Hey, buddy. Hi, buddy. Alright, on this side, this is the other shelf of Christian rock, and this is the material that would be hard rock and metal. And I recently split these up. They were kind of getting cramped, and there's always more coming in with stuff, and so I split it into a third shelf. And then this is some of the mainstream CDs that I have yet to move out of here. This is my entire Thor collection and my entire Kiss collection. And then these are CD sized cases that have DVDs in them. I just recently started going back and pulling them out of the boxes in the other room because I'm like, I'll never watch them if they're buried in with the regular music. So these are all things that contain video. Down here we have all of the other, and it goes two layers back, Kiss and all the other DVDs. And then on the very bottom shelf we have all of my rock related biography books, lots and lots of Kiss, Alice Cooper, Dream Theater, Neil Morse, Stryper, Adamant, Motley Crue, Spinal Tap. Now in this room are more books. These are mostly history books, early American history, Confederate history, American constitutionalism, things along that line. And then we get into more theological material, commentary sets, historical sets, commentary sets, more historical type sets, things along that line. All right, now over here we have my stereo setup. This is my Audio Technica. It's just a typical LP120 USB midline turntable. This is an old stereo I had. I picked this up. It's like 100 watts, I think. I got that at a thrift store months back, a year or so ago. So that's got some power to it. This is a CDR recorder cassette. This is a Blu-ray player. I have a mini disc player, but it's in the other room because I didn't want to make this thing too tall. I got my hands on some of these the other day. This is an actual, typical wireless headset, but it's analog and more so as far as the fact that it has a cable. It's not a Bluetooth thing. So it's got a cable that plugs into the stereo. That was the problem I had. All the newer ones, you connect it like Bluetooth or, wireless to your stereo system or computer. And so I had to get one, and we had this at church, and nobody was really using it. They're like, take it. So it gave me the ability to plug it in. So now, if the need arose, I could actually, put these on and listen to records over at my desk. So anyway, this is, I've shown not too long ago, I got the new, Ortophone thing. And then since then, I got an acrylic. This is an acrylic platter. So before this, I had the typical, rubber. So the rubber, they say, basically helps with the vibrations. It helps to muffle engine noises and things like that as this spins. But I was reading about the acrylic and a lot of the benefits of that, as far as vibrations, as far as also muffling. You can also use this to check the skidding section on here. It's it's totally smooth. You can actually put your needle right on there, and if it slides around, you know that you've got to do the anti-skid back and forth until it stays still. But I left both on because I have read people do that, and so I've actually heard people use 3 things. So I put the felt one back on here, but it seemed like I don't know, I took it off. So you got the rubber under here that helps with the muffling. You got the acrylic that does that. The other thing that's real beneficial of this is they have them in different colors: black, white. I think there's another color. I grabbed the white, and I'll show you why. And this is something I'm glad I read from somebody before I purchased it, because I was going to grab the black. So here's what the benefit of white is. One second. Okay, so let's say in the case where you have some of these like transparent vinyl these days, and all kinds of the color splatter vinyl. This is the Judas Priest Rockarola, the Coke bottle clear. So you have something like this, you put it on a black mat, and it just kind of looks kind of shiny but dark. Boom, you put it on the white mat, and of course it really kind of brightens up and pops. Especially when things like yellow and red, it really is brighter and really makes it pop more. So I thought it'd be neat to go with the white. It just looked different, so went with that. I also have a clamp. This is just a typical Rocker Doctor clamp. It works on this spindle for a 180 gram, but not as good as for a regular. But basically you put it on there and you push it down, and then you tighten it up. And then it holds the record down so that it really keeps the vibration down, and of course this is what they say, so this is why I bought it. But it keeps the vibration down. It can also, on records that have a little warp to it, which I mentioned the other day in one of my videos, it will flatten it out, and it just kind of stabilizes it so it doesn't skid in any way around it. And it does, it's pretty firm here on the 180, but and it depends. Some of them can be too thick. That's another reason I didn't have the 3rd mat on there, because it really reduces the amount of spindle. I went with this rather than a record weight. Weights do the same thing, but there's no tightening it on the spindle. It just sits on there. But I've read things about how the turntable belts, things like that, if the turntable is not meant for the not able to handle the extra weight, it can burn it out. I don't know if this medium road version is really able for that, so I didn't go that route. Now, as far as it comes to cleaning, I went the I've watch all kinds of the do-it-yourself videos, and I went with the idea of, I don't know where they are, but here's a piece of it. I got the just the dry erasers, the Mr. Clean dry eraser thing. So you cut a little piece of that out, and then when you cut that out, and then when you bring it over, you can basically very gently, in a straight up and down motion, let the needle go into it, and then it basically lifts any of the particles off of the actual stylus head there to clean that. So I have that. I have a box of there over somewhere. So anyway, that is the setup and the system. So that is essentially my setup at this point. I have a nice space here. The only bad thing about this is it's on the front of the house where all the sun is, and so this room becomes pretty warm. So I end up closing the windows, the window blinds, to have light canceling shades to get that out. But I have to keep this one open because from my desk I have a direct view of the mailbox. I can see people coming in the cul-de-sac, like the UPS man. I'm expecting some packages today. I can see when the mailman comes so that I can jump up and run out and hope that something fun has come. So that is the setup in a nutshell. I am hoping this video should be way brighter than the original one that I did a year ago, and I feel like things are a little more stable now. I've got the collection a little more organized and things are a little more cleaner. And so anyway, thanks for watching. Rock on. I'll see you later.